6 reasons why James Hetfield is so awesome. James Hetfield has been my personal favourite guitar player ever since I was a little kid, just starting to learn to play guitar. I liked Metallica so much that my parents had to buy Master of Puppets twice because I scratched and wore out the CDs from playing them so often. I even remember doing a classroom homework presentation all about Metallica. Basically, I actually wanted to be in Metallica, and to this day they're still one of my favourites. So here's 6 reasons why I think James Hetfield is so awesome. Number 1, he's a down-picking machine. There are lots of ways to play guitar, but nothing sounds quite as heavy as when you excessively down-pick until you tear a hole in the fabric of space-time. This is how James, or more specifically, his right hand, plays the majority of his riffs. Now this may seem a little bit unnecessary, but no, it is necessary. Downpicking literally every single note creates a consistent and aggressive sound that just doesn't sound the same if you play it any other way. Basically, if you're not downpicking Master of Puppets, you're doing it wrong. Now obviously James Hetfield wasn't the first person to do this, but it is one of the most defining things that makes his riffs sound so good and helped him become one of the best rhythm guitar players ever. Number 2, the cool guy silhouette. You know that rule in movies, TVs, and games where the most iconic characters are recognizable simply by seeing their silhouette in the distance? Characters like Vader, Leia, Batman, Master Chief, all of them instantly recognizable by simply glancing at their silhouette. Well, James Hetfield has that too. One of the reasons I wanted to be just like James Hetfield when I was a kid was because of insanely cool pictures like this. If you're a metal fan, you know exactly who that is the second you see it. You don't even have to hear a yeah or an ooh. Number 3, his guitar solos are actually great. James is known for being a rhythm guitar player, and a good one too. In Metallica, he does the chug-chug riffs and Kirk does the widdly-widdly-wah. But that's not always the case. Did you know that James not only plays guitar solos on some Metallica songs, but they're actually really good as well? While he's happy to leave most of the solos to Kirk, on some rare occasions, James actually plays them instead. It's a bit like when you play Xbox with your mate who doesn't normally play, but is actually annoyingly good. The most obvious examples of James's soloing are on Master of Puppets and Nothing Else Matters, making them some of the most recognizable solos in all of Metallica. Number 4, the ESP Explorer. James is well known for using some very odd shaped guitars. These were based on the Explorer shape originally designed by Gibson, but the ones he actually used were made by ESP. These were called the MX2, or 220, or 250. It gets confusing. These were the classic all white and all black guitars that he used from the late 80s all the way up to the early 2000s. This one is the classic Eat guitar, one of my favorites, and they looked amazing. They weren't technically his signature model guitar, but they may as well have been because he's so often associated with them. Sadly, they weren't meant to last because Gibson sued ESP and they're now no longer in production, which is a shame because these were awesome. Number 5, he writes the absolute coolest riffs in any tuning. You know Metallica's first 5 albums, the classic ones everyone loves so much. They were all predominantly written and recorded in standard tuning, and it's undeniable that those albums are chock full of cool riffs. But after 1994, James and the gang started to mix things up a little. They tuned down to E flat for load and reload, drop C for the majority of St. Anger, and even as low as A flat on occasion, actually using baritone guitars. Now, I know the consensus is that these albums are not that great, but that doesn't mean there aren't some really cool riffs on them as well. I even made a video on this a while ago if you don't believe me. So regardless of tuning, James Hetfield always makes some memorable riffs to bob your head along to. And finally, number 6, Nothing Else Matters. Metallica are a metal band through and through, so they don't do things like ballads, right? Well, actually, they do. Back in 1990-ish, while apparently on the phone, James had an idea for a riff. An idea that was so different, he actually questioned whether it was Metallica enough. That riff would eventually become the song Nothing Else Matters, a slow tempo song with a beautiful clean guitar and orchestra throughout. Seriously, this song is clean tone goals. This must have seemed like a massive risk, given that on the surface, it didn't seem very Metallica. Well, that risk paid off, and then some. It became huge and a massive hit, selling like a bajillion records. So huge, in fact, that Elton John once described it as one of the best songs ever written. Not bad for a riff that was written on the phone using only 3 notes. So that's 6 reasons why I think James Hetfield is so awesome. Do you agree? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you want to see more, and thanks for watching.